Morning. Good morning, world. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. Lovely to see you. Let's plug my thing of me in. Oh, there's always something I forget to do. Always something, man. Extraordinary scenes yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from London. Extraordinary scenes, let me tell you. Right, let's just wait for a few of you lovelies to come on. Black Lives Matter. Defamation of Churchill. The new norm. The new norm. Are you ready for the new norm, are you? Are you ready for the new norm? Get your masks out, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to drop some big ones in here this morning. Lovely to see you, Jacqueline Jones. How are you, darling? Hope you powdered your nose this morning, Jacqueline. I really do. Hannah Oswald, sweetheart. Beautiful to have you. Nice to see you. This channel continues to grow. I'm enjoying this. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's fantastic. And I want, do you know, I kind of do care if it grows, or I kind of don't. It's a weird one. I want it to grow because I want people to get information and a feeling and a vibration, right? That's all I come in here for, is I'm feeling and a vibration. That's all I am. And I want people all to come together in unity, all right? That is all. Just finishing off my coffee while I wait for a few more to come in. I've just done it morning. Hang on. Let me put my glasses on straight. Actually, where's my? I could get to see the comments and maybe look a bit more cool than this, because them glasses are ruined. That's better. We've got Arnie in the room now. Arnie's here. Wicked scenes yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. One of the Met Police horses had a bike launched into it, threw the rider off, and descended down the road. I have no idea why the Met Police use horses. To me, that's taking one of God's creations into a battle. But horses have been used for centuries, but they get the thin edge of the wedge. Morning, it's just done its own thing and opened up on my phone. Lovely surprise. Wow, has it really? Oh, how did that happen? That's just amazing. Hello, Durfee. Gorgeous. Lovely to see you. So we all ready to accept the new norm. We all ready to bend over. Lidl's, they've now got a red light, green light, go situation at their superstores running up and down this country. So green means you can go in, and red means stand outside like a wally. All right. The kids have gone back to school. They're all separated. They're doing air hugging now. Can you believe it? Air hugging. Is this the future and the new norm and the new Orwellian deception that you want for your children, your family? Personally, my own humble opinion is, if you have children that are driving you mad, put up with it, because now's the time. Oh dear, God, I tell you what, if I was coughing like that now and all the coronavirus phobia people, there'd be people flying everywhere, wouldn't they? Watch ya, they'd be jumping out the windows, get me up. Now listen, the guy that I do a lot of work with yesterday, he went to Wickes's in Maidstone. Wiki Woos, you know Wiki Woos, the place you go and get all your beautiful building materials. And he's dipping his feet in and out the truth. I know he is. He does listen to what I have to say. But he said it was really weird going into Wickes's. He said because there was one in and one out. There's about 30 people throughout the superstore grabbing their bits and bobs. He said, but when people look at you when they walk down an aisle, it's like they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. He said it's very unnerving, and I said, well, that's what the system wants. But our puppet leaders are laughing at us right now. They're like Boris Johnson. They're just Dominic Cummings. They're laughing their bums off. They must be sat home this morning thinking, "Oh, look at the peasants! Look, just bending over, rolling over, yeah." And that's just what it means. Their traffic light means I won't buy from them. Exactly. Now's the time, people, to look. You hold the power in your hands. You do. Trust me, you do. I'm just going to share this out. You really do hold the power, ladies and gentlemen. And now's the time to be making smart choices. Now's the time to be thinking, right, you know, although what this coronaphobia is, now's the time for you to hold the power. It's now time for you to decide where you're going to place that energy and place that faith. Okay? You absolutely have the right under God to, if you've got kids, children. Now, most people have a hissy fit when you refer to children as property. All right? But when you when you look at the definition of the word property, it means what is proper to man. So because of that, my children, fortunately, are grown up, but they are indeed, it's a big word, indeed, are my property, and I am their property. Yeah, that's how it works both ways. If you tell a judge that your children are your property, they're going to have a hissy fit. But deep down, they know that you're bang on. And why do they have an hissy fit? Because they want you to buckle. They want you to bow. People, I want you to all fist pump. Put your fist in the air and say, I hold the power. I hold the power to decide whether my kids go to the mainstream schooling or I teach them at home. Teach them at home. Why is it a perfect time to teach your kids at home? Right? We're going to be getting into the nuts and bolts of what's gone on in London yesterday via some YouTube links of horses having bikes thrown into them. We've lost it, right? We've descended into chaos. Now, I don't want that, actually. I'm a patriot and I love my country. And I've been spreading a message of change for many, many years. Someone gave me a definition the other day of the goddess Shiva. I was having a reading, the rune stones. Rune stones are sort of ancient stones that the Nordic people used to use when the Vikings used to go out and do their stuff. And they used to have readings that used to give them comfort because they used to think it gave them some sort of thought process and what might be coming in the future and whether they were protected or not. So we had this rune stone reading and the goddess Shiva come up, right? And I said, oh, that goddess Shiva, the goddess of destruction. There's a massive big bronze statue of Shiva outside CERN, the Centre of blah, 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 European Research and whatever it is out in Geneva, which is the Hadron Collider. And she said, well, God, Shiva's not bad. I went, what? God is it? She said, but you got to deconstruct the word destruction. She said, you're destructive to the system. And I went, what, me? She went, yeah, you. You're destructive to this current system. She said, but destruction means that if you wish to destruct an evil system and you want to turn it to good, that's a good thing, right? And I went, do you know, I've never thought about destruction like that. I've never thought destructive forces to take it from an evil system to a good system as a positive thing, but it makes sense. So destruction can have two sides to it, two sides. And most words do have two sides to them. So the reason why you're all going to be great at homeschooling is because you're all very well educated. All right. You've all gone through the indoctrination education system. We know it's an indoctrination. We know it's a paid for, bought system, right? And it's not an education, it's an indoctrination. So homeschool, bring your kids, take your power. Years and years ago, my son came home with a book from school and I weren't happy about it. So I went round there and I went, listen, don't push this and force this agenda on him. If I want him to learn about it, I'll ask you to teach him. Don't push this religious education on him. Okay? Too young. Let him make his own mind up later on in life. You can't tell us what to do. I said, no, I can't tell you what to do in this place. But what I will do is pull him out of this school and he'll never come to it again because I'm his father. They didn't like that. But they heeded my warnings. So homeschool, if you can, homeschool. If you can, go local. Go and find a little place around you that does your bits and bobs that you need to get through your daily life and start teaching these big ones like Sainsbury's and Tesco's lessons. Now, I want to give you a little a reason why that's such a powerful thing to do. Quite a few years ago, we had a couple of supermarkets coming to this country from Germany, Aldi's and Lidl's. Now, whether you like them or you don't, it is what it is. So what you had was all these supreme leaders. You had your Asda's, your Sainsbury's, your Tesco's, right? The three big ones, your Waitroses, all these other big uns. And they were so arrogant, so arrogant, that they went, oh, they're tiny players. They're never, ever going to impact on us. We're not losing no sleep over it. We're going to be just fine because people won't leave us. We have our hardcore base of people and they presumed it to be loyalty. I've heard them use the words loyalty. Well, in this time of Hunger Games, which we find ourselves in, what Sainsbury's and the others failed to realise was silently and under the radar, Aldi and Lidl's were nicking everybody and everything. And now Sainsbury's and all the others have had a massive fall from grace because they didn't pay attention. They failed to see what was going on. And Aldi's and Lidl's, they're spreading all over the country. So that's the power that you all said a few years ago, we are not shopping here anymore. You're ripping us off. You're mugging us off. You're using food as a weapon. So we're going to go to these other outlets. But now they're falling into line with this all indoctrination stuff, green light, red light. I mean, what is that? This is the new normal that you're all accepting. You're just accepting it. Now, if everyone stopped going to Aldi's and Lidl's tomorrow because of this green light, red light, guess what? In a few days' time, there will be no green lights and red lights. They'll have to take them out because they'll be going, we've dropped a bollock. Right? That's what would happen. So always understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you have the power. Right? Now, we're going to be getting into the nuts and bolts of what's been going on up and around London yesterday with Black Lives Matter. Personally, does Black Lives matter? No. All lives matter. All right? Every single life and soul on this planet matters. Whether you're black, white, blue, Chinese, Cantonese, Pekingese, pick your nose, whatever. You're all as valuable and as important as another. And I will stand side by side by anybody. I don't care what skin colour they are. It's what's inside them. But yesterday we've seen the defamation of Winston Churchill. Whether you like Winston or you don't like Winston is regardless. There's a lot of people out there saying he was a paedophile nonce, and there's a good chance he was. We know that many, many years ago, Lord Louis Mountbatten was blown up on his boat and he lost his head and shoulders. That was a massive joke back in the day. When Lord Louis Mountbatten was blown up on his boat, everyone was going around, oh, you heard about Louis Mountbatten? Yeah, oh, he lost his head and shoulders, right? Couldn't find his head and shoulders. That was a standard. That was your standard joke back in the day. Louis Mountbatten, allegedly blown up by the RA. No, he was a paedophile. And he was took out. We got evidence to back this up. We got evidence that Edward Heath was a paedophile. Tim Fortescue. I'm going to play you the Tim Fortescue clip in a minute, and I want you to listen. And I want you to go, oh, my good God. I'm supporting a system run by pedos. Congratulations. Well done. I can't support that. And if Shiva is the goddess of destruction, I will, with my fellow patriots in this country, destruct that system. Okay? We will destroy that system because that system is wicked. That system is evil. Now, I don't do the violence, okay? All this throwing bikes into police horses and injuring police constables. Sorry, that's not for me. That I am a patriot, and I can be seen as a destructive force. From in certain people said, you know, what you're calling for is completely not the norm. Well, I don't like the norm. I don't like what the system is doling out. I don't like what we've become. So if I can play a small part in destructing that and bringing in something more beautiful and positive for the world and people as a whole and bringing back unity, do you know what? Guess what? Yeah, then that is me. I will continue to destruct the system. I will continue to ask people to think about the decisions that they make and start homeschooling and doing all these other great things that you can do to pull back your power. I heard someone did a maze on IKEA floors get lost in the store. Mate, I'm going to have some of that. Right, so let's have a look. We've done a bit of 1984 yesterday. I want you to listen to Tim Fortescue, right? Let's have a little listen. Let's find Tim Fortescue, and I want you to listen to what this Labour whip, chief whip, right, said about, Fortescue. Labour whip. Let's have a look and see if we can find what Tim Fortescue said back in the 70s. Now, bearing in mind, when... right, so hang on, I'm just going to pause out. I don't want you to listen to that right now. When Tim Fortescue was the chief whip for the Labour Party under Edward Heath, we know we've got evidence that Tim Fortescue was a pedo. Not Tim Fortescue, but Edward Heath used to ship and ferry young kids around. All right. Now, I have people come to me and tell me that they were picked up by politicians years ago and taken off for sex parties. And I'm talking kids of sort of 5 or 6 years of age. Now, I want to see an end of that. Because that is sick. That is just wicked. That's pure evil. So Tim Fortescue here, we're going to play this. He's the chief whip of the Labour Party. I don't think there's going to be any copyrights on this. Let's hope not. I got stopped the other day by sharing something on Channel 4, but hey ho, we'll learn as we go along. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tim Fortescue, okay?
In trouble with come to Lewis and tell them the truth as they know this. I'm in a jam. Can you help?
Hang on.
It might be dead.
I need to turn this up a bit. Hang on, just bear with me. Let's turn this up. I want you all to hear this. And what I want you to pay attention to, right, is the way that this, I'm going to start again. I want you to listen to the way that when he actually gets to the point where he mentions young children, I want you to watch his body language, the way he gulps. He knows what he just said is unbelievable and sick, but he said it nonetheless.
In a sense, who was in trouble would come to Lewis and tell them the truth as they know this. I'm in a jam. Can you help? It might be debt. It might be a scandal involving small boys or any kind of scandal which a member seemed likely to be mixed up in.
Play it again for you.
It might be a scandal involving small boys or any kind of.
Did you hear that? Small boys.
Scandal, which a member seemed likely to be mixed up in. They'd come and ask if we could help.
There's Eve.
Could we do? And we would do everything we can because we would store up brownie points.
Look at him. He don't look comfortable saying that. He knows what he just said is immoral. Immoral. And we've got these people running Parliament, ladies and gentlemen.
That sounds a pretty nasty reason, but it's one of the
It's not a pretty nasty reason, love. It's the truth.
reasons. If we can get a chap out of trouble, then he'll do as we ask forevermore.
See? If we can get him out of trouble, he will do what we ask forevermore. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the scumbags that we have. Come on, computer, settle down. They're the scumbags that we have running this country. They're the scumbags we have running this country. It's disgusting. What is going on? Why do we tolerate this? Why? So, yesterday, scenes in London. We're going to get to that in a second. Freemasons on the 33 level protecting each other. Mate, awake and well. I'll make you right. I do make you right. He looks like a spitting image puppet. Yeah, he does. I mean, we used to love spitting image back in the day. Oh yeah, with the Royals used to get it. We had Scargill. We had all sorts on spitting image. It was funny, and then it was deemed not to be politically correct. Well, look, all this political correctness is you're seeing the full flow of the political correctness now popping out into full view, aren't you? Absolutely outrageous. I'm going to try and find you the scenes from yesterday in London. The whole world there's something going on right now. Okay, I don't know what it is, but there is something really weird and horrible going on. The defamation of all these statues, whether you like them or you don't, it's a breakdown, isn't it? You know, we're not decent people. A decent protest is non-violence, smashing up of buildings. It's peaceful. It's peaceful. It means you take back your properties. All right. Now, that's the only way we can do this, is to take back our properties. Okay. In massive numbers of people going out and rioting on the streets. Let me see if I can find this thing from yesterday. And then this disturbs me that we're allowing this to predicate. Now, who's behind? Yes, who's behind all this violence and defamation? Who's behind all this? 2 hours ago. Right, so this is yesterday in London. Okay. We're seeing the police mounted on their horses. Okay, look. Look at the poor horses, look. Well, I'm a horse lover because I got 3. I don't think that horse... Look. That poor horse. Look. So the mounters have been taken off. The police mounters have been taken off their horses. This is the future, ladies and gentlemen. This is what protesting looks like now. This isn't protesting. This is rioting. This is insightful. This is violence. This is not... It's not the proper way. It's not a proper way to be. Okay, I can't condone this. I can't advocate this. This is not proper. I understand people's frustrations. I understand people's fears, all what's gone on. But I would love to know who is behind this insightfulness, okay? Because whenever we, and the irony is, right, whenever true patriots go to London or wherever to protest, we get attacked. We get attacked by the police. They pick on people. They pick on Tracy Blackwell. They twist them up. They take Graham Moore to a police station and hold him in Westminster, right? We're true patriots, okay? And what they fail to realise is that we're doing this and standing up for our country. Not only are we standing up to protect the people, we're standing up to protect them, okay? Now, if I've got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, if I saw a copper being dismounted from their horse, I would try my hardest to stop that. Because it's just the proper way. It really is. We have to protect our people. We have to protect our people. We have to protect our public servants, regardless of what they're doing to us. We have to do that. We have to protect. We have to be the adults in the room. We have to be that shining light, that beacon of hope in this country right now. That's not me being romantic. That's the truth. Because as you can clearly see, we're accepting the new norm. Police being... Why take horses into that? Why would you put that gorgeous... I couldn't even for 1 minute contemplate putting any of mine in that situation. Not a chance. Well, I had 2 Rottweilers. And someone come round my house one day and they said, "Oh, you wouldn't be burgled, would you?" I went, "Well, why is that?" "Well, look, you got 2 big Rotties. You just got to send them out." I went, "Mate, if I was being burgled, my dogs would be indoors. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't send them out and potentially lose one of my loved ones that I cherish and feed and water every day." I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have a dog to fight my battles. I wouldn't have a horse to fight my battles. I'll fight my battles. Nobody else. We're accepting something in this country, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't wish to see. So police and the system, when you look at people like me, you want to best know that we're sovereign beings. We will protect you. We will come together. If you come from properness and rightfulness, We will protect you. Gary Clark, I know Gary Clark would protect them. Okay, I know Nathan Kirkland and all these other people, Graham Moore, Davy Russell, all the patriots that have been out there over the years, Jamie Bennett. They would all protect them. We wouldn't, I could not see a copper bleeding and not run in to help them and save life. Because it wouldn't be the uniform I'm saying, saving, it's the soul. It's the soul we would be saving. And that is all that matters here, ladies and gentlemen, is souls and spirits. It's not the battle. It's not the egos. It's not the stuff that these people are descending into. It's the saving of the souls and spirits and the vibration and the cleanliness and the goodness of what this country is and was. It's not about uniforms. It shouldn't be about uniforms. It should be about the spirit. I remember being a kid and watching the horses outside them demo marches on match day. People need to see how horrible it is before they realise the carnage. Absolutely right. Firing bikes into horses. That's not bravery, that's thuggery. Don't get me wrong. And you have every right to be frustrated. But what I implore you all to do is channel that. Channel that energy and turn that negative stuff that's going on into something beautiful. You use your collective power. Now, there's rumours that yesterday all the Football Lads alliances were back out. How that went down, I'm not too sure. I'm not seeing any scenes of what happened with the Football Lads alliance, yesterday, and all the football teams and clubs coming together. We need them. We need them. We need unity. We need people to put their private personal feelings to one side and stand shoulder by shoulder for decency and for this country. This country is what matters. Let's get our country back. Let's stop fighting amongst one another. Black, white, Chinese, brownies, gays, transgenders. Stop fighting amongst one another and come together for your country. Be proud of your country. Be proud of where you live. Let's get rid of all this evil. All the evil in the councils, in the courts, let's get rid of it. Because it's going to descend into chaos. And it is descending into chaos. And we are at chaos, right? That's where we're at. All these scenes going on in the streets. That's where we're at. Because we've placed our faith into something that's not real. Money. These currency notes that council, if you don't pay your council tax, it's going to take your house away. They need to go. If you don't look after your kids' social services, we think you've got problems. We're coming to check your thinking. We think your child's vulnerable. Where's the crime? We had a woman, a family, quite a few years ago. My good soldier friend Chrissy Morris got involved. He'd done a TV documentary called Battling the Bailiffs on Channel 4. We was in it. We was in that programme. And a family of 6 that couldn't afford £100 a week to their rent so that everything was covered. The police come round and said, if you get made homeless, we're taking all them 6 kids. Can you see how that family was set up? Can you see that them kids would have been taken into care at £500 a week, £2,000 a month? How much these councillors, these sick, twisted, evil bastards are making? Wouldn't it have been easier just to give them £100 a week so that the family could stay together? And them kids grew up in wholesomeness. They need to be whole. Kids need to be wholesome, because if they're not, you get scenes like what happened in yesterday. That's because kids ain't rounded no more. That's because there's no love in their life. You're going to get worse scenes than that from the next generation. It's a broken Britain. It's not glossy. It's not what the magazines make out. It's not what the TV makes out. It's certainly not what the media make out. It's broken. There are an element of these people in this country that do live a privileged life and don't go without anything. But that's a small number of people. So the kids are broken. The homes are broken. The family unit's been broken. These councillors are laughing. They're mocking us. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. Because what they're bringing into manifestation, people, you don't want to see. You don't want to see this stuff coming into full manifestation. You really don't. Especially when Edward Heath's young man, Tim Fortescue, said, if we have any members of our team come to us with scandal, money, drugs, young boys, cool as a cucumber. Oh, yeah. Fucking the young boys, that's standard. Yeah, no, it goes on all day long, Randy, you know. He should have fell to his knees when he said them words. He should have fell to his knees and asked for repentance. Hannah Oswald. My son Warren last year was stolen from hospital, and a comment from Facebook. Wake up, people, as to our social services are the devil's work. I don't care what I say. I don't care. I'll call it out for what it is. People don't like it. That's fine. But I don't see any goodness in this thing. I see skullduggery and people trying to take children for money. It's a massive industry. It should never be an industry. Cancer should never be an industry. We've got to illuminate people. We've got to infiltrate. And I've spoke to a beautiful soul yesterday for an hour or two. A female. She's in the system, working in the education system and done all sorts of bits and bobs with law, this, that, the other. And she is in there for the light. She's in there to change it and to challenge it and to keep us safe, people. That's what she's doing. She's a light worker. I thank God for her. Strength doesn't come from throwing bikes into horses and dismantling police constables. Strength comes from inside of you as an individual. It wells up and manifests inside you. And when you get this strength, you know that your bubble is on, that you've got your spacesuit on, and that no one can penetrate that. No one can penetrate you. Unless you're a chief whip of the Labour Party. The scenes yesterday were deplorable. I call them out. Black lives matter. Everybody's lives matter. I don't care what skin colour you are. I'll defend you to the hill if you have a good heart and a good soul. But if you're going up to cause violence, mayhem, and harm people and cause harm to life, you're a scumbag. You're a scumbag and you deserve prison. And I hope you do get prison. I truthfully do. The revolution or renaissance I want to see is a quiet one. Is where people come together in their soulness and their oneness, and they stand side by side, create an army of peace, light, love and wisdom, and we go and take our country back. And we make all these public servants fall into alignment. How do we do that? We get the gates of Downing Street firmly fixed open. We stand these fucking idiots with machine guns down and say, look at what you've created. Just look at the fucking mess you've allowed. Won't change otherwise. Won't change. And then once you peaceably get them gates, this is me speaking out theoretically. I've seen this in a dream. I'm just showing what God showed me in my dreams was get them fucking gates open. Make your public servants have to live by the social conditions the conditions that everybody else has to live by. And if you ain't happy with what they're doing, you can go and knock on their door and say, hey, Winkle, what the fuck's going on? All right, I'm using a few swear words this morning. Why? Because I'm wound up. I'm passionate about my country. Destruction of that kind don't serve no one. And to the people that got dismantled off their horses yesterday, the police officers, I pray that you're safe. I pray that you're okay. I don't want to see any of you come to harm. Yes, you harm us. I would never, ever, ever lay a finger on any of you. Never. You've been misguided, constables. You've been misguided, all of you. You're involved in wickedness of the highest level. But the only way we do this is peaceful. We take back our country with honour, with respect, with love. And we roll out a decent future for all mankind. The kids can be happy. The kids can have a future, a peaceful future, where they're not all being stabbed. How do we do that? We reassert and reaffirm the rule of law, where the scales of justice are equal. Man, constable, equality. Equity delights in equality. I'm not a fool, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a fool. But yesterday, it's gone too far. We've got our public servants now being bashed up. I don't want to see that. They deserve the right to life just as everyone else does. And if we try and say to these coppers, you've done bad stuff to us, yes, they have. But if we have the same mentality towards them, we're not going to change nothing. What do you want? The question is, what do you all want? What kind of a future do you want? Do you want a air hugging? Go to school now, they're air hugging. Do you know what that's doing to the kids here? Air hugging. Who the fuck is coming up with these words, air hugging? And who's making the signs? Kids now. Yeah, air hugging. Yeah, no, we ain't allowed to come near each other. Yeah, we're air hugging. For this corona, the virus isn't the problem here, people. People are the problem. A sneeze, a common sneeze, flies 18 foot. Did you know that? When you go and you sneeze, it goes 18 feet. Unbelievable. That's almost 4 meters. Or is it? Hang on, 3, 6, 9, 12. No, it's a long way. It's a long way. It's 6 meters. It goes along. So this 2 meters. So, right. And also you've got all this social distancing, which the word social needs to be thrown in the fucking dustbin of history. Never to be used again. That's the Nazi Party were National Socialists. I hate the word. I'm going down the social club. Oh, my God. What have you allowed? There's countries around the world. Some of them have got 2 meter rulings. Some of them have got a meter ruling. Some of them have got no rulings at all. Where's the standard measure in all of that? There's certain parts of the country. Oh, it's got to be 2 meters. On the 15th of this month, me ladies and jelly spoons, you ain't going to be able to get on a train or a bus without a mask. Do you know the level of fuckery that you've allowed in this country? Excuse my French. If this video gets pulled, it gets pulled. But at least you've got to see it live, right? And what YouTube and that should now be allowing is that true patriots and with true passion should be allowed to speak, because we are the only ones that are going to bring this country back. This country's lost otherwise. And it will continue to get worse and worse and worse. And no one would do anything about it, because all you get is, oh, they've said we can go out we can go out in 6s now. I said, well, who's they? Oh, well, they've said if you don't behave yourself, they're going to come round and knock on your door and take your kids. Who is this they thing? Is it the Gestapo? Is it? Who's they? I've never made sense of that. When I was a child, well, if you don't go to school and behave yourself, they're going to come around and pay you a visit. I'm like, So I'm looking round all day for they. I'm like, what's going on here? What, are they coming out? Are they aliens? Who are these people that we call they? You know, all your families have used it over the years, and they've gone, oh, they're going to come round and pay you a visit. You behave yourself. They're coming round. Oh, yeah. I've seen some horrific videos over the years, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen social services take babies away from mothers in hospitals, and they've got coppers there with machine guns. Just think about that. Is that future in a country that you want to live in? I don't. That's tyranny. England's not a tyranny. We're a nation of greatness. Just what happened to it? Papers were served apparently to government on the 20th where they're claiming lawful rebellion. I can play that video, Cockney Patriot, if you want. It's a beautiful, beautiful video. Because to be fair, I need to have a pee. I can play you that, but that'll be about the third or fourth time I played it. If everyone don't mind watching that again so we can get the word out, I'll play it and you can tune in, or you can go and make a cup of coffee or whatever. If you can just give me some 5x5s, I'll find it and play it again. There is something, there's an element to this that stinks. And there are big rumours that a guy called George Soros, who is a satanic monkey, is behind a lot of this stuff, and that there is reports that people that get involved in all this skullduggery are actually getting paid $35 an hour to get involved in this stuff. No, I'm not going to use. I was going to use the word anarchy, but it's not anarchy. Anarchy don't mean what you think it means. And if you take the true definition of the word anarchy, I am probably one of the biggest anarchists out there that this world is going to see. I just want my people to come together. I want them to be brave enough. And let me talk to you about the bravery that is required. All right? There will be no physical violence. There will be no injury to anybody. All we need to do is get everybody to come together, me, you, your cousins, your brothers, your uncles, your sisters, and we all come together in a massive bubble like a massive swarm of bees, and we peaceably go up to Downing Street and say, Constable, open these gates. And when they look around and see the deadly silence that they're standing and looking at, have you ever been in front of a teacher? Have you ever been in front of a teacher and he says something to you with sternness and authority and goes quiet and just watches you, stares at you, and you squiggle around on that chair, you have a little fart, and oh my God, the silence is deafening. Why? Because he's a player. The power of silence, which I do a lot, believe it or not, because I do rabbit a lot. When I'm meditating on the Bible, I go completely silent so I can hear, so I can tune in. But if we all go and just say, open these gates, man. They're going to open them gates because, believe it or not, most of them coppers that stand on them gates have already said that we know what these people get up to behind the doors there. And we know that upon questioning, if massive people popped in and said, open the gates in their hundreds of thousands peaceably, what would you do? And they've all said, we'd open the gates. So there's nothing heroic about what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing whatsoever. Okay? I'm going to find this lawful rebellion thingy and we're going to play it for you. All right? And then I'm going to go and make myself another copy and grab some juice. And then we'll be back. I've just got to find it. This guy is amazing. I've stumbled across this beautiful soul called Cole Vernon, and this guy is knocking it out of the park. His channel's growing like there's no tomorrow. He's just absolutely awesome, and he's making a massive change to people's psyches because he's just telling it in such a calm, beautiful way. My swearing and my passion is pure, people. It's not, I have no ulterior motives. I have no wish to destroy anybody or anything, okay? But one thing's for sure, I want my fucking country back. And I want my people, which is you, to be happy. So, let's just get this on a full screen. We'll play this out. And then I'm going to go and make myself a coffee and then we'll be back. So let me just alter some bits and bobs here. Here we go. So hopefully you'll start seeing this. So this is quite long. If you've seen it before, I do apologise. But for the new viewers that are popping in, there is something being planned for the 22nd of the 6th, 2020, where we're all asking people to come together in lawful rebellion under the rule of law. If you need to get a book of the rule of law, please do. Please research the rule of law online. Understand what the rule of law is. And once you've got the premise of what the rule of law is, then you'll understand how it is that you have to be proper, and how it is that what you have to do to bring your country back to greatness, civil disobedience. All of what I talk about is pretty much covered in this video. Now, you can see World War III up there. And let me tell you, we're in World War III. Now, whether you admit, if you're brave enough to admit that to yourself or you poo-poo it, that's up to you. That's your choice. That's your free will, right? And I love free will. And I would never, ever, ever try and stop you doing anything that goes against your free will, because that's your right. But many years ago when I was at school, my teacher, Miss Badan, took us for a lesson in 77, 76. And she talked to us about all the wars, the First World War, the Second World War that were about, what were the outcomes. And then she touched for a little while on what World War III would be. And the point that I really pricked my ears up and paid attention, and I really don't know why I did. You know, I was interested in other things like girls and all that back then and playing Knockdown Ginger. I wasn't really interested in what she was talking about. I was just like, you know, kids at school, they go, yes, miss, no, miss, can't wait to get outside, miss, I can go and play with my friends. That's what kids do. That's their nature. But she touched on a thing called World War III, and I was like, wow. She said that once World War III is here, and I'll never, ever, ever forget that lesson, right? Never. My primary school, I'll never forget this. She said, World War III will be happening and no one will realise they're in it. Here we go. I'll see you very presently.
World War III right now, the final war of their lives against us, the people. It's so important that you watch the entirety of this video, because this could prove to be our last and final hope for humanity. Our last hope for true and utter freedom, and finally an end to global tyranny. It's your civil responsibility to watch the entirety of this video and to share it as much as possible. I'm going to be explaining to you an international legal framework that has been suppressed and hidden from us in order to use our ignorance against us so that power and control can be exerted over us. This legal framework will be forming the basis of a historic event and global process which will start to take place on the 22nd of June 2020. If you're watching this video after that date, then it is fine, because it is important that you understand this legal framework in order to help you liberate your people as well as your country. Mass protests are about to erupt globally, and many of us are working together in order to stop this war against humanity and this war against our consciousness. The information presented in this video will aid the dawn of a global revolution, one of the likes which you've never seen before. At the end of this video, I will explain to you our plans to legally take down global corrupt forces. Many people have been working together in order to make sure that this is possible, including solicitors and barristers, and I hope this video inspires other legal professionals to get together to fight this cause. In order to properly understand our rights, we first need to explore the origin of our constitution as well as common law. In 1215, the Magna Carta was created, a document signed between King John of England as well as the barons of the land of that time. The Magna Carta is Latin for the Great Charter of Freedom, which is otherwise considered the greatest constitutional document of all time, as it has heavily influenced the formation of most democratic nations' constitutions all over the world, including all countries within the Commonwealth as well as the United States of America. The document was essentially the birth of democracy, constitutional rights, and civil liberty. Lawfully speaking, it was put in place to limit the monarch's power over people like you and me, and to ensure that they always act in the best interest of people of the land. It was put in place to prevent any tyrannical order from taking place, which we are currently unconstitutionally experiencing today. It stated that each individual bear as much power as each individual in the monarch, a lawful document that was so powerful that it had finally leveled the playing field, providing equal rights for all. Fundamentally speaking, the Magna Carta was derived from Christian law and the 10 Commandments in the Bible. Today, Christian law is otherwise known as common law, laws put in place in order to ensure no loss, no harm, and no injury. Whether you believe in Christ or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that these laws were put in place in order to protect our human rights, to protect us, the people, from ruling forces having unwarranted power over us. The Magna Carta is so important because it formed the basis of legal and human rights that each of us as individuals possess today. In 1688, the Bill of Rights was voted into English Parliament. In 1689, it was written into law. It was signed outside of Parliament, which gives it ultimate authority over any laws that have been created by Parliament. The Bill of Rights is an extension of the Magna Carta, and it essentially brought the Magna Carta into Parliament and common law. At the end of the Bill of Rights, it states that this document cannot be changed, not now nor ever, and any attempt to do so is an act of treason, which is punishable by hanging. So what this means is that any attempt to take people's rights away is an act of treason and is punishable by death. Remember, the Magna Carta, Bill of Rights, and Constitution supersedes parliamentary law, and no new law can oppose the rights given to us within our Constitution. Are you now starting to see where it is that I'm going with this? Each nation's parliaments and governments are afforded their power and sovereignty through us citizens. In terms of the United Kingdom, lawfully speaking, no individual in the monarch is any more powerful than any individual in the United Kingdom.
Amen.
Parliaments can only conduct new laws with the consent of its nation's people.
Hi, Zevi.
If they do not seek the nation's consent, then that is an act of treason. Basically, treason has been committed against us multiple times, in many, if not all, democratic nations. So we are in our rights to be aware of this and seek justice, which is punishable by death. Now that you understand the law, let's explore why this is more relevant than ever. Each one of the 52 countries within the Commonwealth that has implemented their own disaster act has committed an act of treason by feeding people the illusion and lie that they have the ability to take our constitutional rights away. Our rights of freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to work and support yourself financially. People have been brainwashed into believing that our governments have ultimate authority and power over us and our constitutional rights. As a result, it has caused a severe economic depression, which has resulted in the closure and loss of many businesses and livelihoods, which is a direct act of treason against us by our own governments. Many acts of treason have been committed against us, the people, because we have not been properly educated on our rights as individuals and as a collective. Governments and ruling parties have taken advantage of our ignorance and our lack of knowledge and have used this against us, and lawfully speaking, in the process, have committed acts of treason against us. Let's look at Britain, for example. In 2007, the Queen was ill-advised by the Privy Council and Gordon Brown, which led to the signing of the Lisbon Treaty, which was a deliberate attempt to remove our sovereignty. This was an act of treason. Parliament did not seek the consent of its people, which in itself was an act of treason. Unfortunately, people do not know any better, and they're unaware of their rights and laws until this very day. In 1997, the Labour Party had won the elections, and Tony Blair was their leader. Directly after he had won, he had increased MPs' salaries by 50%. In 1998, he had gone against the Bill of Rights and changed the laws on treason. By doing that, he had actually committed treason himself. The government treats people's silence as consent and have tricked people into thinking that this is legal. But it is not, because the government requires a referendum each time it wants to implement and change new laws. Parliament has the right to write new laws into existence. But these laws can only come into effect with the consent of the people. This is what people have failed to realize. And this lack of knowledge has resulted in unconstitutional crimes having been committed against us. It's almost as though their elites and governments are convoluting laws so us, the people, do not understand them and the processes that are required in order to make them effective. And so that if we ever come to understand them, that they would not be subject towards certain punishment for the treason that they've committed against us. Article 39 of the Bill of Rights states that anyone accused of a crime needs to be tried in a court of their peers. This law was broken when Magistrates' Court was brought into being. This again was an act of treason, and had given the elites and Parliament more control and power to practice corruption within the justice system. The real question is, how have they been managing to continuously keep doing this and getting away with it time and time again? Well, it's because they pass these laws without being contested. That's what gives the legal system weight to go ahead and implement these laws. It's also because the courts and the media go ahead and communicate as though these laws cannot be contested. People are unaware that they still possess the power to still be able to decide what happens and what doesn't. But the truth is that all it takes is for a small majority to get together and contest these laws. The more people get together, the more weight the power of the people possess, and the easier it is that these laws can be revoked. If people are unaware of their rights, then they will not exercise their rights. This is a global phenomenon. There's an abuse of ignorance and needs to be stopped. What's sad is that most British people are unaware of the fact that they actually have a constitution. The Bill of Rights mentioned in this video affects Britain as well as 52 countries within the Commonwealth, including my own country, South Africa. The reason for this ignorance and lack of knowledge within Britain and all 52 countries within the Commonwealth is because politicians and media never ever mention common law. And because it's been hardly mentioned, that is why the public is unaware of it. This has been happening all over the world. Our media outlets are controlled by the same rich elites which are controlling our governments. They have been continuously controlling our information and continuously committing acts of treason against us and the nations that we represent.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publishing things without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of Brazil use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
So you see, this is not a national problem, this is a global problem. And as I said, there are 52 countries within the Commonwealth. Lawfully speaking, the people have ultimate authority over their parliaments and governments. In fact, our politicians, police, and military have no power over us because it is us, the people, that lend our sovereignty and power to these politicians and institutions. Once people realize this, they will be shocked at how governments all over the world have been committing multiple acts of treason against us, in not seeking our consent in a lot of the things they do and the laws that they freely implement without our consent. People's constitutional rights were put in place to stop powerful people from doing whatever they want against the interests of us, the people. When people realize how much power they have as an individual and as a collective, this is when times will truly change. It will change the way people think, it will change the way people act, and it will change the way people behave towards each other. This knowledge being implemented can present a whole new era and dawn of humanity. We've been subtly brainwashed into believing and not understanding any of this. We are all slaves. Slaves that have therefore imprisoned ourselves due to our lack of understanding of our freedoms, rights, and constitution that we hold as individuals and as a collective. The monarch and parliament are simply just figureheads that have been bestowed the responsibility to protect and represent the interests of us, the people. This responsibility bestowed upon them by the Magna Carta and Bill of Rights has not been upheld by them. Therefore, everyone responsible has committed an act of treason. They're doing this because they are frightened that far too many people are awakened and will get in the way of their plan for total world domination. Lawful documents have been served on the 23rd of May 2020, the first step of a due process to bring these people to justice for their crimes and treason committed against the indigenous people, giving the government 30 days notice in order to find a remedy of the situation and to deliver justice to the people. After the 30-day notice period, any British person that wants to fight for justice and freedom watching this video will legally as a collective be allowed to get together and themselves seek remedy and justice. It is so important that you understand that this cannot happen seconds or minutes before the 30-day notice period is up. If it does, then you will have no legal rights to take action. Once the 30-day notice period is up and directly after it has been completed, then all the power will lie in the people's hands. On that day, mass protests will be happening. A lawful rebellion against sedition and treason, potentially the greatest revolution this planet has ever seen. It is extremely important that after the notice period is up, on that day, and on that hour, justice is exacted. Police will legally not be allowed to oppose such a collective because the police belong to the people,
Amen.
not to Parliament. The only way that this can become legally null and void is if a larger group of citizens get together and oppose the freedom and justice that this movement is fighting for. As long as people are lawful and not violent within this process, each individual will be standing within their own rights. Citizens are allowed to use minimal force in order to protect themselves. This is a legal term that allows people to use the same amount of force inflicted upon them, just so long as they are not the aggressor. So, as I'm about to upload the video on the 23rd of May 2020, I've just gotten a call now from my fellow British patriots who had gone into hand in the lawful documents of sedition and treason, giving a 30-day notice.
This is what we're doing today. Door.
I love this man right here. He's my brother.
So this is not a protest.
No, it's not a protest.
No, law today.
We're just here to uphold the law of this land. In here, proof of sedition and treason.
As they'd gone in to hand them in, there had been a whole lot of cops there waiting, which means this whole operation and movement has been tracked, traced, and followed.
Under the Health Protection Act 2020 Regulation 7, on the evidence you're being asked to go home.
But you're right, the road was
So it doesn't matter what you believe in.
You've been given a grip.
So if you're not willing to engage with me,
I haven't read this.
you need to first go home.
Just want to hand this in.
We're handing it
Just hand this envelope.
That's up to you, sir.
This needs to be said. What I'm saying is this is a part of citizenry.
And they had not allowed them to hand in the documents, which means that the police themselves had actually gone ahead and broken the law and had gone against Article 61, refusing to acknowledge the Magna Carta, which was officially acknowledged in 2001.
But under the Breach of the Health Act 2020 Regulation 7, refusing to speak and details of pay.
And what this means is that they've
You are
actually
under
right
arrest.
now,
We have your
and the
details.
30-day notice starts from today.
We know where
And
you
on the
live.
22nd of June 2020, Britain will be shut down. This is extremely powerful.
Come on, people. We can do this.
Catalyst to show people around the world how much power we bear within our rights, legally as individuals, and most importantly as a collective. After the United Kingdom does this, Australia will shortly follow, and we expect this to inspire many other democratic nations within the Commonwealth to do the
Bless
same.
you, Hannah.
This truly is the start of a final battle. That is our last chance to truly be able to protect our freedom, sovereignty, and rights as human beings.
It is our last
In the Bill
chance.
of Rights, it says that if treason is committed against the people, then they are commanded to rise up and peacefully seek justice
Amen,
for the
brother.
treason that has been committed against them, which means that it is your legal and civil responsibility to peacefully rise up and seek remedy against the sedition and treason that has been committed against you. In the comment section, there are links to groups you can join on Facebook, Telegram, Reddit, and Discord.
Never too late,
I
Truth
myself
Seeker.
am working with two organizations called Earth United,
Fill
as
your
well as
cup.
the World's People Council, which you'll also find links to in the comment section below. I hope you realize the seriousness of this and are ready to act. If this doesn't wake you up, then nothing will. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so you can be notified whenever one of my latest videos come out, where I will continue to spread love and peace in the form of wisdom and knowledge. I will also continue to cover the story as it unfolds. If you'd like to show your support and make a donation towards the Casanova Show and the valuable content.
Right. Let's let that play out. I'm going to turn that down. Let's come back out of there and come back into StreamYard. That's it. Right. So we should be back in the room. I do believe. Are we back in the room? Oh no, I've not switched the thing over. Oh, hang on. Sorry, peeps. It is Sunday. I had a few beers last night. It's my missus's birthday. And I very rarely drink nowadays, but we had people come round. Oh, yeah, no, we did. We had people come round and we had a nice meal. And we had a nice time about it. And we didn't do the 2 metre rule. Why? Because it's baloney. Yeah? We were naughty last night. We was all sat round the dinner table together. Yeah? 6 of us. Oh, we are. I tell you, we're terrible, aren't we? We are. We're terrible. Yeah. But that's just how we go. That's just how we go. Me and my married are married under common law. No piece of paper telling us we are. Absolutely right, Hannah. Absolutely right. The Bible says, with this ring I thee wed. It doesn't say, let's get government involved and have a piece of paper, does it? Yeah. So these are the truths that we're coming back into alignment of true self. Okay, we are 100% coming back into our true self state. We are. So this book is the rule of law, right? Now, I'm not really one for law. I think law stinks, especially at the minute. But equality under the law is paramount and mandatory. All right. So that means that if you've all got to do a certain thing for the betterment of humanity, and this virus is the problem. It is what's causing all this grief. All right. And government have jumped on this and they love this. It has given them an unleashing, wielding power like never been seen before. They're loving this. But they're not playing the game, are they? Dominic Cummings. There is an argument that Dominic Cummings' child has got autistic and special needs issues, and that's fine, right? And as a parent, as the father of the child, he has the right to go here and do this and drop the kid off there. He does. He absolutely does. But so does everybody else. Okay? Because equality before the law is paramount and mandatory. Because we are all free. We're not bond. We're free. We are absolutely free. So this is what we need to come back to, guys. The rule of law. And that's all we need to have that ethos in this current epoch. All right? Is the rule of law. All these councils are outlaws. The police are acting as outlaws right now. And the chaos is ensuing and falling on them. And the system is falling on its own sword. All right? Because of what they've done. Because of all this stuff that they've been involved in is the exact reason why it's all coming down like a crescendo. Because they've not observed the rule of law. They've come off the rule of law and now they've got the rule of tyranny. Well, you can only keep a country suppressed for so long until the people go, oh, we ain't having it. And then you got 65 to 70 million people at your front door wanting to have a spoil with you. And that's what we're leading into. That's what we're coming into right now. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. We need proper education for the kids. We need civils back. We need civil liberties being taught to the kids in school. Not just about 2 + 2 = 4 and all this and that. Teachers is just as much to blame throughout all of this as anyone in the system because they're running the indoctrination camps. Yeah? And we know that the elites or whatever you want to call them, I don't actually think they're elites. I think they're stupid. They get an education, whereas the people that go to normal schools get indoctrination. Sit over there, put your hands on your heads. How many of you had to put your hands on your heads when you was at school? What's it all about? It's all about making you compliant. It's about making you bend over and not question authority. And that's why men and women today get that fear, that little white stripe go up their back, because most people are spineless, is because of that indoctrination of the school teacher, the very start of it. Put your hands on your heads. Sit there and be quiet. Go and sit in the corner. That ain't teaching love. That ain't teaching respect. If you actually engage kids and taught them proper stuff about life, they might take more of an interest. Because kids are pure when they come into the world, when they're growing up. They don't care who's black and who's white. They don't care who's doing this and do that. They're just happy in the moment and in the vibration. It's only when they start going to school and they get educated that you get the separation happen. And the separation, ladies and gentlemen, is the very sole reason of why we find ourselves where we are today as a collective. Because we've been taught wrong, we've been educated wrong, we've been educated to respect authority. But what happens when the authority don't respect us? Yeah, When we got a court system that's beating us up, if we question them, well, isn't that the purpose of court? Is to question and to get to the truth and get to the nuggets and have a proper court case, all right, and let the facts prevail. But we know that there isn't a court in this land that can hear a fact. They can't hear a fact. A fact cannot be presented to any court of law in this country. Why? Because they operate in fiction. They operate in the land of the dead. They don't operate in the real world. They don't. They don't see a man or woman stood before them. They see a fiction, a creation of theirs stood before them, a vessel in dry dock. It's fucked. It's screwed. And the Rottweilers in the room are the only things that are making this system predicate and operate on the level of violence. Naturally, no one is racist. Absolutely. A kid don't come out the womb and think, oh, I'm black, I'm white. They don't. This is just the divide that we're all taught, and we can't have the divide. We need unity. People on social media this morning spreading pictures of the woman that defaced Churchill statue yesterday. Oh, look, check her out. Well, yeah, she's nasty, and I'm sure the law will deal with her. But it's like people want other people to go and take a chunk out of this woman. But then again, it's all about the divide, isn't it? It's all about the divide. It's shocking. It really is shocking. The whole system needs an overhaul. And I'll guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, we now have light workers in these places, right, making changes. We do. We now have light workers going into these institutions that are saying no more abuse, and they're coming into truth and wisdom and standing there, and they're winning because they're standing there in the true spirit. They're standing there in the true spirit, and they're natural born protectors. And we have quite a few of them out there in the world now, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, there's a lot of good people out there protecting souls. We really do. So, peeps, we've almost had an hour and a quarter. I do apologise for playing that video again this morning. Well, I don't apologise, actually. If you've seen it before, that's just how it is. I hope you went and got your coffee or had a break or whatever. It is a good video. We are asking for unity to come together on the 22nd of the 6th, 2020, in the last-ditch attempt to make sure that England and its people remain free and don't become bond. And the majority of this country now are bond. You might not realise it. You might think you're free, but let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you are not. And hopefully you'll pick up your bits and bobs and start to realise that you're not. You're now bonded, all right? Because that piece of paper, all right, this is a bond. This is a bond, okay? That birth certificate is a bond. You are bonded. You are bonded slaves through this. Probably can't see it too well. So these are papers I'm serving on the courts this week, okay? Ecclesiastical deed, poll, evidence of life, and a copy of the birth certificate. I'm coming back into the world, and I always will be a man standing on this land, and won't be seen as a fiction. I refuse to be seen in this world as a fiction, as a dead entity to these scumbags, these Freemasons that operate in these courts. They all need to have a check out. They all need to check themselves, because they've turned this country into a cesspit. And we need to come out of the ashes now, ladies and gentlemen. We really, really do. What we're saying, I see the brainwashing from the establishment training camps. They breed fear into you, making you understand the rules. Absolutely. This channel is not a channel for fear. This channel is a channel for you to find your backbones and to lose that little silver stripe that runs up people's backs. And you need to talk to your friends. You need to talk to your families. For they don't. I'll tell you what. I don't think they realise what's just about to manifest. And I hope I'm wrong. The second wave of whatever this is that's coming to this country is going to be food shortages and services going down. There is talk of tomorrow or later today that America is going to be under martial law for 3 days, and this is maybe going to be implemented by President Trump. I think President Trump is just about now to round up the last dregs of the deep state in America, and we're in for some interesting times coming. I mean, I do follow Q a little bit. I don't get drawn into it too much. We have a lot of people out there that are drawn into it, but I choose as a man to try and build my foundations on solid ground myself, and not on quicksand. So, but for everything else that goes on out there, I do pay attention and I do see things changing. There are big chats and talks that Hillary Clinton will be under prosecution and a trial coming up for Hillary Clinton and what she's been doing over the years. I hope that is to be the case. Watch out for the false flag on Donald, right, says Stuart James. So, we know that the Simpsons have depicted Donald Trump laying dead in a coffin. I say, God bless Donald Trump. I say, God bless America. I hope that they're all safe and that their country does take back control of the deep state, dark, satanic cabal. But ultimately, I know in my heart that the deep state cabal, the dark, loses because light and godliness always prevails, all right? So I wouldn't be too panicked. I think Donald's got a bit of a handle on this. He is the head of the military. That's exactly what Donald Trump is. So we will see. There has been a report. I'll see if I can find it. Someone poked up this morning that either the 8th, 7th or 8th or 9th that America will be going into a martial law kind of situation. And if that is to be the case, I think it is potentially they're all being rounded up. The deep state cabal are rounded up. We know that there has been military trials going on to look, we've got two patriots, right? John Davis, two patriots, John and Joe went back to clean up Winston. So we've had a couple of true gorgeous patriots go back yesterday, and they've cleaned up the Winston Churchill statue. And that's amazing. That is just absolutely amazing. The Daily Mirror, policewoman thrown off horses in hospital as 10 officers injured in protest. That's disgusting and disgraceful. We can't descend into this, people. We really can't. Because if you get involved in all that and start going and beating coppers up and all that, you've been deceived. And you've been led down a really, really bad path. Men beat woman Keegan James of Branzo, hang on, while she in a white course of the police. I don't know about that story. We can touch that another time. I'm trying to find the story of this lockdown, America going into lockdown. There is a report here from the Telegraph. The police refused to reveal the names of 800 paedophiles to protect their human rights. There you go. That's the legal system. The cesspit that is the legal system. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the legal system is a cesspit. You do know that it is dirty beyond belief. It stinks. When a solicitor opens up their door to their office, you can smell it. You can smell the stink coming out. It's a stinky environment. I'm trying to find it. I can't seem to find it. Let's have a look, see if I can have a quick look before I disappear. But yeah, there is strong suggestion that in the next few days, America will be on a martial law curfew. Everyone has to do what they've got to do, whilst the deep state go in and do what they have to do with cleaning up the deep state cabal. So if that happens, God bless. I don't see Trump as a bad man. All right, I could be wrong. We don't know everything. None of us do. If we did, we'd be God, and we're not. We're just expressions of it. But in my heart, I do feel that Trump is doing some malign work, and through all adversity, he's standing tough and standing tall. So with that in mind, I want to wish Donald Trump all God bless him and keep him safe, and that applies to all America. I know that America is going for a renaissance period where they're trying to make it great again. All their industries are opening up. Their unemployment levels had been dropping. And Donald Trump is always dropping bombs in on the truth with the media and through his Twitter outlets. He seems to be an irritant to these people, to the deep state cabal that are trying to keep their levers on the dystopia. He is 100% dropping bombs. Now, is he a good guy? I hope so. But that's all it is I don't know what Donald Trump's intentions are, because I don't know the man. And even if I did, I wouldn't be in control of what it is that he wants to see manifest in the world. But I do get a feeling that when you have a politician or a president, should I say, of a nation that has just under 350 million people, when he comes out on the political stage and the arena and calls out all the media outlets as fake news, I just erupt into internal joy, because it's needed. Our media are fake news. Our BBC is fake news. Our ITV is fake news. And you have to realise that. And then once you do realise that, you can come into new understanding. And the internet has given us a platform that we can now disseminate what the mainstream media is pushing out, and we can get that out, and so that people can make their own informed decisions. And that's what we need to do. We're a nation of people that don't think for themselves. We're a nation of people that if they watched the telly tonight and Boris Johnson said, right, you're to stay indoors, switch all your taps on, fill your ass up and drown to death, I'm pretty sure people would do. No, darling, don't turn the tap. No, Boris has told us we've got to. If we want to beat this virus, this is what we've got to do. I would suggest that most of the country would descend and do what he says. And it's disgraceful. But this is the weekend, and the BBC now have stopped broadcasting all this corona phobia over the weekend. Why? Because they've admitted that their ratings dropped, that no one was paying attention. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So look, I'm going to get going. I'm going to go and have a bit of lunch. It's just coming up for 5 minutes to 1. We've been on here just under an hour and a half. As always, I thank you all for tuning in and ripping the knob off and sharing all the contents that we do, whether they're good or bad. That's up to you to make your own minds up of. I hope that you see what I do is done with a pretty good heart and a pretty good energy. I just want my country back. I just want my people to be free, our people to be free. I want us all to start being joyous again and being free and living in a good vibration and a good future for all our families, with plenty of health, wealth, nutrition, and all the other bits and bobs that they desire in their life. May they manifest and may they see. I know that it's coming. I can feel it. And that's all that we have to do, is just keep pushing this. If none of you are aware, my good friend Graham Moore has a channel on YouTube called Danny Dragon. If you're not tuned into Danny Dragon, may I suggest you go and like and subscribe to his channel for future broadcasts, because he is a proper true patriot. Whatever you think of Graham, it doesn't matter, but he wants his country back. And he's a man that believes in the Constitution and the rule of law, as do I. And the reason why I believe in it is because it's what brings us back as a country. All right. I don't believe in it as an individual. Myself, personally, I know what it is and I have an understanding of it. But I know that it's the key that brings us all back together. Police, the people, all together under the rule of law via the Constitution of this country. And fantastic. Oh, and before I disappear, someone mentioned just a minute ago about Gregory Hallett, this guy that's professing to be the King of England. I'm just going to look at it and say what I truly believe. I think it's a nonsense. I think the guy needs an assessment. And he's making very, very bold claims. And when he slips up, it's this mere fact. Gregory Hallett has an elder brother. So you can make your own deducements of that. But it's something that I won't lend any time or energy into. That's up to him. Personally, I think he's making himself look like a bit of a fool. But we will see. I can't stop the man doing what he's doing. But yeah, it is what it is to me. And I don't want another king, or I don't want another queen. we're done with that. We're done with that tyranny. We're done with that oppression, because that's all they've ever been, is an oppressive force. So, peeps, I love you all. I will see you all soon. That's my thoughts on Gregory Allett. I'm sure he's a decent guy, but what he's claiming to be is laughable from where I'm sitting. And the fact that he's got an older brother would tell me that he'd have a claim to the throne far before Gregory Allett. So, for all of you that are donating to his channel, I suggest you think about that. And I don't want to see you mugged off. That's all. So, peeps, I love you all. You're entitled to your opinions. If you think Greg Allett is the next King of England, crack on. That's a free will universe. You're entitled to it. I love you all. I just offer up my own individual things on life. And if it resonates with you, fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not a problem. I love you all. And I will see you all very soon. And if ever any of you want a phone call or a chat in a private, mate, listen, I'm always here. Okay? I'll send you out my number. We'll have a right old chat and a knees up. All right. I love you all. Stay safe. Remember what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. All right. And the rule of law. That's what I believe in. All this stuff with rioting that's not me. It never will be me. Destruction and violence is not the way forward. Peacefulness and unity is where I'm at. And I hope that you all want the same thing. I'll see you all. Stay blessed. Stay loved.